can exhibit my own example for the same. My name is Goel and I'm working with Emerson Electric Company, the IT center of Emerson Electric Company from last 2 years. And I'm the sports house captain of the sports meet, which is being organized in our company right now, handling a group of 40 people. Apart from that, I'm project lead of editorial team, handling a group of 10 people. And even though my total work age is 2 years, my leadership skills have been exhibited like from last 4 to 5 years, since I have been worked as the vice president as well as president of Rotary Club Ludhiana, that is in Punjab, for a tenure of 1 year each. So I can make this a point that this presentation is not for people from the top management. It's for you and it's for everyone, so that you can exhibit the best skills and try to learn as much as you can. With this, I'll introduce the topic of my presentation, that is why strategic leadership matters. Let's talk about leadership. What is leadership? What do you think is leadership? Any answers from audience? Yes. Anything else?
Capability to lead.
Yes. There are so many imperatives of leadership which have been incorporated. But I would like to take the best definition for my presentation. That is, leadership is a practical skill which encompasses the ability of an individual to lead or guide the other individuals, teams, or entire organization. But what, according to you, is an ideal leader? Can you name any of your ideal leader, whatever you think of?
Someone who leads by example, who practices what he preaches.
I mean, I need a name. It can be Amitabh Bachchan or Narendra Modi. MS Dhoni, yes. Anyone else? Ideal leaders? Tom Cruise. Ah, I like him too. Oh, he's actually a potential leader. But there are so many leaders we have. We have Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Winston Churchill. But yeah, Abraham Lincoln, but still 86% of the respondents feel that there's a we still have lesser leaders than we actually need. And this brings me to a question that whether leaders are made or are they born? They are made. They are born. This is a tough question to answer, but I would rather make a statement which is rightly said by Sharad Sharma, that great leaders are trained. This is what we'll get to know, that what all the qualities a leader needs to acquire and how can they be trained. We have so many leadership styles which are being used across various organizations across the world. We have leaders by intellect, leaders by power, leaders by position, but all these leaders incorporate either of the two leadership styles. One is managerial leader and another is visionary leader. Do we think that these two leadership styles are enough for the long-term viability as well as short-term stability of the company? We'll get to find out about it. Firstly, we'll talk about what is a managerial leader. Any idea? What do we think of this term when we read this manager and leader in one phrase?
You can manage a group of people who belong to different places, environments, circumstances, bring them together and make them work on one collective goal.
That is so rightly said. A managerial leader is the one who works for the short-term stability of the company by focusing on day-to-day activities that person is employee oriented and take care of daily stock prices and wants his task and activities to be completed on time. But there are some limitations which are related to managerial leadership style. These limitations are managerial leader, they don't tend to personally attach to people they are working with. They try to gain control through rewards or punishments or such sort of style. They try to make a cost benefit analysis on daily basis. All these things are good for the company to get your task done, but this is not good for long term vision of the company. This is good for just short term. But what do we have other thing in our bucket to understand that which don't have these limitations? The other thing we have is visionary leadership. Any idea on what could be visionary leadership? Though I have already told you, but still, anything
Someone
you
who
can
has
come up with?
futuristic view, who has more personalized relationship, so that in future the employee will stay with the company instead of leaving it.
That is right. Anyone else? In some other words, what do you think of a vision from visionary one?
Someone who sets the mood or the organization or the group the person leads on, and then makes a progressive strategy for this organization.
Yeah, one who gets a blueprint done for a long-term vision of the company, so that he can work for, he can come up with 5-year plan or 10-year plan for growth and success of the company. That is visionary leadership, who works for the view of the future. But there are some limitations related to this type of visionary leadership style too. And what are these? A visionary leader is future oriented, that is true. So he is not aware of day-to-day tasks going on in the company. He doesn't focus too much on daily tasks. An employee might be unwell and he's too much focused towards future. He is not aware कि वहाँ पे 5-6 जने तो है ही नहीं टीम में. किसी का if someone is unwell, someone has to go on leave with wife for some vacation or so. He's so much future oriented that he's not aware of day-to-day tasks. Then, since a visionary leader is one who relies on his own values, he creates a vision, and it's really tough for a visionary leader to incorporate that vision in, I would say, when you have a vision in your mind, you can't simply explain it in words. You can't make everyone understand what is your vision all about. There are very few people. So your vision is simply your own values. You are not able to explain it to everyone. And other than that, a visionary leader is focused and works in close relationship to higher management. That's all we have for the limitations of visionary leadership. What is the need of the hour for any company if any organization is using any of these leadership styles? Management control is required, as well as employee control is required, but we have either managerial leader or a visionary leader.
Should have overlapping.
Yeah, company needs a combination of both. But how can we achieve a combination of both when no such style is prevailing right now in the fashion?
By creating a team of leadership instead of a single leader.
Maybe
No, we have two ways to do it.
maybe
One, we can,
culture,
yes.
creating a culture, in your own company, that this is not the way or something. So it's like a creating an environment, and people do try to change accordingly, try to adapt. If you try to change the culture and environment, try to imbibe in their own, so that works.
That culture needs to change from lower level only, if we are talking about a culture only. So all the things need to find and develop develop from base level. And we have two ways to do this thing. One is by having two people at the same role. One is visionary leader and the another one is managerial leader, working for the same role and focusing on their own task. But do you think is it possible for a company to afford two people for the same role? I mean, they already want a single person to work like for hours and hours a day. And do you think they can afford two people? I mean, even if they try to do it in the long run, it would be difficult to manage for them because there will be conflict between two people, as it's difficult for a visionary leader to make his values understand to the managerial leader. Similarly, it's difficult for a managerial leader to make him understand the day-to-day activities to a visionary leader. The another way we have is having a strategic leader, which is very less popular among organizations. And a strategic leader, by definition, is the one who works towards the growth of the company by focusing on day-to-day activities as well as working towards the long-term vision of the company as well. By having minimal control on the employees. This is what in extra that a strategic leader does. But all the characteristics we have for a strategic leader. A strategic leader is one who ignites spark in employees, who tries to tell them what they need to do rather than jumping into that task and doing it on his own. This way, minimal control on the employee and empowering that employee to work towards the to work for the success of that activity or that task. Then we have a strategic leader is one who creates innovation, who works towards innovation, who wants something new in the company rather than focusing on the past data as well as all the graphs which a company has. Though those graphs and data are necessary, but innovation is also required for long-term growth of the company. A strategic leader is one who nurtures an employee, who works towards the growth of an employee, who's not just focused towards himself only, who is the one who shows direction to employees. And last, I would say a strategic leader is one who creates more leaders from the employees, who's not just focused on his task, that he is the leader of the company, and if he teaches anyone else to be a leader, he'll lose his position. He's not afraid of this thing. Rather, he works to empower employees to move towards leadership roles. As per Roby and Nijat, they have given very beautiful statistics and a graph for wealth versus time. If we talk in terms of wealth versus time, visionary leadership style, it's gonna, the managerial as well as visionary leadership style is not gonna be beneficial for a company for like after 4 to 5 years. But if we have a combination of both, then of course a company can benefit from both the leadership styles after a span of 4 to 5 years. But those benefits won't be enough, as a strategic leader is more beneficial for the company for even 10 years, 12 years, for 15 years, since he's the single person doing this job. I have a very beautiful case study to support my argument. That case study is right from my own company. I've seen this thing with my own eyes. I would say I've experienced this leadership style, which has been beneficial to my company. I'll talk about the past scenario first. We have this HR lady in our organization. managerial leader when she introduced new activities to the company. Like every company wants some recreation activities, annual bashes, and sports meet, everything. Like all employees meet and women employees meet. All those initiatives were good for the company. But if I talk just about annual bashes, they cost the company around 12 to 15 lakhs for 1 year, and that annual bash was like held once only in 1 year. Then there was some change that happened to the company, and what was that change? They hired a new HR leader, a new HR executive person, and that person, she came up with new technique of empowering employees. She created employee-friendly clubs. She created a recreation club, a sports club. All these clubs, editorial club, all these clubs were run by employees only. She empowered those employees to be the project lead of those clubs and run those clubs with a minimal involvement of her own. Then all these things appear so simple to everyone that yes, she came up with the new ideas and company was growing. So what would be the result? Of course, a long-term viability and short-term stability. What I'm talking about from last 10 minutes, of course. But there were some challenges that were faced by that lady. First one was acceptability. She was new to the system, and it's really hard for anyone to come into the top management and being acceptable by everyone. It's not very easy that you entered a normal hierarchy which is going on in the company and then you say that I want to change it. No, it's not easy. Then all these changes were new to system. Employees were not ready to take it as it is. They were like, uh, why would we jump in and put in this extra burden? But then again, participation, taking risks. There were so many risks that if she goes ahead with this recreation club and editorial club, what if the employees don't come and nominate themselves for the same thing? Then it was again cutting across hierarchy. She was introducing something which was against the hierarchy, which was already being followed from last 7 years. She introduced this thing by noticing the viability of the change. What was the viability that made her bring up with this new idea to introduce in the system? Average age of employees in the company is 28 years. And if an average age of a company is 45 years, they are all at senior level. They would think that we can't take up so much of pressure, we have family to handle, we have work to handle, and we won't go ahead with this change. But when average age is 28 years, you have so much of young talent that you can incorporate in various clubs. They want to be valued, they want to be involved, they want to utilize their time. That's what made her feel that this change should be done. Besides, chances of buying any idea from an employee is more. Suppose I am project lead of editorial team. I talk to so many colleagues at my position, and when they got to know that I am the project lead of that team, they were like, when are you going to release that newsletter? We're gonna read it. See, if the HR head goes to an employee and says that we are bringing up this newsletter and you should read it, hardly any of the employee would take interest in that. But if I'm saying, and then of course the employees will take interest and go ahead with it. At least my friends will do. So, what were the outcomes of this? There were so many positive outcomes. First one was overhead on HR department reduced marginally. since this was the initiative that was employee driven and ideas sold by employees only, bought by employees only. Then the total cost of the events. Every month we held an event and the total cost was for whole of the year was around 1 to 2 lakhs. That is even less than one fourth of the total cost which was prior due to annual bashes. Then employees got more engaged for the company activities and they started feeling valued for the company. To summarize my whole point, I would say it's very unfortunate to know that there are even less than 10% people, strategic leaders in all the organizations across the world. This is very less number and this is the need of the hour to find and develop strategic leaders. Though it's a fact that these are very hard to find and develop, but this is the very fact which makes them rare and valuable to the organization. So a strategic leader who works for the stability, long-term stability and short-term growth of the company is need of the hour and organizations must work towards it. I would like to conclude by saying a famous quote that leaders become great not because of their power but because of their ability to empower others. Thank you.